Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name's Ditterman and welcome back to some Hearthstone Battlegrounds news. Yes, we have a bit of news with a new patch coming out. It's the 18.0.2 patch. Very exciting, and we have a lot of changes. So let's get straight into it and discuss them, and I'll give you my initial thoughts and reaction to them. So we have some minion updates. Gentle Megasaur has been removed from the Battlegrounds minion pool. Oh my goodness. Okay, talk about massive changes straight off the bat. That is insane. Megasaur gone severely weakens Murlocs to the extent where I'm wondering if they're still going to be played. Now, I have gone for a bit of a flick through these changes, and there actually isn't a replacement for this card yet. Now, I imagine that there will be a replacement coming very, very shortly, because there's no way that Murloc is going to be able to do anything really with this change. It generally means that they're never going to have access to plants or Divine Shield. They'll still have access to Poisonous, and it might be a little bit easier for them to find it with a bit of a change, a couple of other changes that we'll see very shortly. But yeah, massive change here. Severely weakens that late game Murloc build, and lets there be a bit of diversity at the end. When you play a game against Murlocs in the current patch, you tend to just get to a certain point where you have your stats and whatever, and if you're not playing Murlocs, you just end up losing because there's no way to beat it in the end game. So this is a welcome change. Poisonous is the problem, in my opinion. That Poisonous and Divine Shield just does not work properly together. It's really problematic. So massive change straight out of the bat. Going to be really interesting to see. My initial thoughts are that Murlocs are going to be pretty garbo for a little while, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. And the next change, which we're all 100% happy about. I don't think anybody could be upset with this change. Arcane Cannon has been removed. Hallelujah. What an annoying, silly minion that they added with Pirates a couple of patches ago. Such a just ridiculous minion, which just completely ruins your game if you are, playing in the early to mid game and you have a rubbish start and you don't get any good minions, or you're just struggling a bit and you don't get this cannon, and you just keep running up against people with cannons endlessly, and they just do such ridiculous damage. It's just, yeah. That's enough said. I'm glad it's gone. Never bring it back. If you do bring it back, make it a 0-2, or I don't know, just don't bring it back, because we don't want it back, do we? It's just awful. So happy with that change. Happy days. All right. Also, a little bit of a pseudo nerf to Pirates with this as well, because obviously with their multiple attacks, it means that they won't take advantage of this. But anyway, all good. Next change, we have the Sorrelisk getting changed. It is still a 2-star card, but it now has an extra attack. So they sort of, obviously they flip-flopped this with Hyena in the last patch. So then Hyena was the 1-star, and this is the 2-star, but they didn't actually do anything to the stat line of this, which sort of made it a bit weak on turn 2. It's still going to be pretty good if you get enough Death Rattles, but generally not strong enough in the early to late game to make it actually work properly. So yeah, good to see this change. It's probably not going to impact it all that much. It's just a 4-2 now. If they sort of buffed itself a bit, it might be a little bit more appealing, but yeah, it's sort of just the start of the beast changes, because there is massive beast changes in this patch, which we're going to get to very shortly. All right, another change that we have here is Rat Pack. So it is now tier 3, which is a pretty significant nerf to the beast synergy, and especially to someone like Deathwing, a hero like Deathwing, who's really looking for this card early on to make the most of it. Generally, this card is really, really strong in the early to mid game, where you can build up that strength and get those extra rats on the field to win ties, or get that little chip damage in. It can be really annoying to play against, especially if they get triple Rat Packs. So bit of a pseudo nerf again to Deathwing, but I think a really welcome change. It is going to be interesting to see how it plays out with the other beast changes, because there are a lot, and sort of hard to gather in what's going to be really, really good and what's not. Now, this is sort of taken over with the pack leader change. So we have the change of pack leader from 3 to 2. So this is obviously being 2 to 3, and this is 3 to 2. I actually think this is a pretty good change, to be honest. Pack leader always felt awful to me as a Tavern Tier 3 card, because you got it at 3, but you already had Rat Pack, or maybe your kitty cats, and they just couldn't be buffed. So I think this is good. Now Tavern Tier 2 should see plenty of play now, especially with the other changes to Beast. So yeah, looking forward to trying this out now and looking forward to trying out the new beast. I definitely think it's going to be strong, especially with Murlocs getting absolutely kicked to the gutter. So we'll just have to see though. All right, Monstrous Macaw has been buffed. Okay, I didn't really see this coming. I didn't think it needed a buff whatsoever. So yeah, it's a little bit confusing. I don't really understand this. I mean, it's been given +1/+1. I guess what they're thinking here is that now it's a Tavern Tier 3 minion. It needs to have a bit more status to it to make it appealing. But to be honest, it's the whole appeal of it was the fact that its ability is just absolutely bonkers. So I'm not really sure about this change. I don't think it really needed to be made because it's not really a specific beast change, because people use this in, all sorts of Death Rattle decks. But yeah, a little bit interested in how this is going to play out. But anyway, we'll see how it goes, but I don't really think it was necessary. All right, so this is the other Murloc change, which we're going to see. Promorphin Lookout it's been changed to Tavern Tier 4, but now it only discovers minions from your current Tavern Tier or below. So pretty big change there. Obviously, if you're at Tavern Tier 5, it's actually not going to make that much of a difference now I think about it, because if you're on 6, you really don't want any Murlocs at 6. Like, it's not a big deal, because there's only a Malgadon anyway, so it's not really a big deal. But so I don't think that's a massive change, but it will be a bit of a change if you can't pick up another Promorphin, or you can't pick up a Begurgle or anything like that from this. So if you're on Tavern Tier 4, that is. But this is really the only buff to Murloc which sort of compensates with the other nerf, the Megasaur being removed. So will be interesting to see if this is enough. I personally don't think it will be. I think Murloc's still going to be garbage, but we'll just have to see. But this might go some of the way to help it out. But yeah, who knows? All right, Nat. Good old Nat has gotten a bit of a buff. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really sure how to take this card. So they've changed its effect. So now it reads, after this minion attacks and kills a minion, add a random minion to your hand. So it still has that overkill mechanic, but they've just worded it differently. But now it actually gives you a minion into your hand. So it's essentially a bit of a refarm steal on a minion, but you obviously need to kill the minion, which is kind of interesting. So this actually might be quite desirable in Pirate now, especially with the nerf to Murlocs. If you can buff this up to crazy levels and you manage to, kill something every single turn for free, that's, a free minion, and you might be able to, kill something which is really valuable. So this is a really cool change. I really like this this new effect on Nat. I think it's going to be very, very strong, and I think we're going to see the Nat in many more games to come. So looking forward to trying him out when I get the option, obviously. All right, massive change here. Mama Bear is going to Tavern Tier 5. Getting a 1 health and 1 attack nerf, but hey, it's on 5 now. Beast did need another minion at 5, now that they've nerfed Goldrun to 6. So really good change here. Going to see people playing a lot more Beast with Mama Bears a lot earlier, so expecting to see a lot of Beast. I think the whole reason why our Rat Pack was nerfed to 3 is because of this, because they don't want people to be able to pick up lots and lots of Rat Packs with this card, because it's going to be absolutely bonkers. But it's exciting because we're going to see sort of the return maybe of sort of traditional Beast decks with, with Pack Leader and Hyena and all sorts of good stuff. So I'm happy to see this change. My initial thoughts are, though, it might be slightly too strong, but we'll just have to see. They might have to nerf its effect. And actually, it only gives +4/+4 rather than +5/+5. So I didn't actually notice that at first glance. So that might be the balancing option there. But still really cool to play around with Mama Bear on 5 mana. I'm excited to try that out. So yeah, cool. And sort of our last change here, with the minions at least, is the Goldrun change. Now that he is at Tavern Tier 6, they've made him more appropriate, I guess you could say, and they've given him an extra buff. Now, I am a little bit worried about this because of the combo, because if people get, buffed up Macaw plus buffed up Goldrun plus Baron, it's just going to be, the end of the game pretty much. So it's going to be interesting. I think this may make the Beast combo slightly too strong. Obviously, having Goldrinn at 6 is making it a lot harder to achieve that. But now that's got a bit of a buff, yeah, I'm just not sure. It didn't really need it, to be honest. I'm not really sure why this change was made. But yeah, I guess they just really want to give support to Beast. But I mean, from where I'm sitting, it feels like they're trying to work on buffing traditional Beast warbands, and all they're really doing is just making the Beast combo absolutely bonkers if you pull it off. But that's just my initial reaction. I'll have to actually play with the patch to see if that's actually true or not. So anyway, interesting times ahead for Beasts and Murlocs as well. But yeah, looking forward to trying all of this out. All right, so we do have a Battleground hero update, so we'll go through those. Vash has been removed from the Battlegrounds hero pool. Yeah, not surprised at all. Not a very strong hero. We'll probably get a rework and be back later, so that's fine. Eudora has been nerfed, so now you have to do 5 digs rather than 4 to get your golden minion. Very much a welcome change, especially with the fact that Murlocs are being nerfed, because this is going to really shake up the meta, and Eudora, I think, was going to dominate if she wasn't adjusted, because the hero power is just too good. Getting that golden minion and the reward as well is just too strong for only 4 digs. So delaying it another turn does really weaken it, does hamper it, and it does make them a lot more, or Eudora players a lot more vulnerable to early attacks and early damage. So welcome change here. I think she's still going to be pretty decent though. Still see her in the Battlegrounds quite often, but yeah, this definitely needed to be changed, I should say. Okay, Reno is getting his hero power just to cost 1. I mean, they seem to change Reno's hero power like every 3 seconds. They made it 4, then 3, then 2, then 0. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just a once per game thing. So yeah, welcome change. Saves some Reno players some gold, and means you can pretty much gold your whatever you get on the turn that you pick it up, which is nice. So yeah, good change for that. Reno is always about picking up that really strong card, something like a Baron and a Brand. If you can do that, if it's cost 2 or cost 0, you're going to be in a really good position anyway. So not a big change there. All right, Lich King is getting a bit of an interesting change, though. His hero power is being buffed again, so it now costs 0. So you can use this without any restrictions. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. It should hopefully give him a bit of a buff. They obviously buffed this from 2 to 1, and now they've buffed it from 1 to 0 again. So hopefully this makes Lich King a little bit more playable, because obviously at the moment he hasn't really seen much play at all. But making it cost 0, definitely going to be quite strong. And it's going to really buff up his early game, which is going to be interesting to play around with. Being able to have those reborn minions come up, you know, every single turn is going to be really helpful, and really help his win rate in the early game, which would be nice. So welcome change there. Looking forward to trying out the new Lich King. And the final little change is Galakrond's Greed. It now freezes the minion added to Bob's Tavern. So that's actually quite interesting. So it means that you don't have to freeze every single turn that you use the hero power. I might actually want to play Galakrond now. I don't think I've ever played Galakrond on the channel because I don't like how it plays, but this change might make it a lot more appealing, because with the original hero power, you had to roll. Well, no, you didn't want to roll, because you wanted to try and level the minion up all the way to Tavern Tier 6 to get something really overpowered. But the problem was that you had to freeze the Tavern every single time you did it. But now that it just freezes that specific minion, that's going to be a really big change. And I'm really looking forward to actually trying Galakrond out. It might actually be somewhat decent now. So yeah, that's a really small change sort of added at the end there. But I think it's going to be quite substantial. So yeah, lots of interesting changes. There's a few bug fixes, but that's all good. But yeah, overall, my initial thoughts are, wow, going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. I think Murloc is in the dumpster fire with the removal of Megasaur, but I could be wrong. And I think Beast is going to be really strong with your Beast combo, and even your traditional Beast decks doing pretty well. And the new Nat looks awesome. Definitely interested in trying him. So, yeah, lots of really cool changes. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. If you have any thoughts on what this means for the Battlegrounds. Is it going to change dramatically? Give me your thoughts and feedback on the video. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun. Take care. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you guys. Bye-bye.